Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Got cut off from the last video. So this is a continuation from the video before this. I'm just answering a few questions. So I just want to read the question again and then I'll continue answering. So the question was, I would love to hear your view on Jesus and if he is a spirit that lives today. Have you encountered him? Is he to be worshipped as the true God, as Christians do? As someone who once identified as Christian, I'm very curious. So I think, I just think that that's a hard question, right? Like who knows what's right and what's really, there's no wrong, right? I believe that everybody has the right to believe in what they want and choose to worship or pray to whoever they feel called to, right? And I'm just feeling and hearing that, God is within us. We are all part of God. So really worshiping God is worshiping yourself, is seeing yourself as a part of God, seeing others as a part of God as well. And realizing that we are all God. We are all gods and goddesses in different ways. Some are much more powerful and more advanced than others, but all the, other gods that other religions worship and pray to are also gods as well, and also, deserve and will benefit those that are, communicating with them, working with them, and so on. And we don't actually know, right? But I do believe that I do believe in Jesus. Because I met him, and like I didn't meet him like, hello, I'm I wish, but kind of. But also like the thing with religion and God and stuff is it's very subtle. So it's like you have to trust your own experience, trust your own perception of things, and trust yourself to decide this is God for you. It's not always so loud and in your face, but sometimes it is. Like some people have, near-death experiences where they literally die and they go to heaven, they meet God, they meet Jesus, they meet their ancestors, they see their past lives. It's like so many books have been written about this, So it's like we know this exists, right? And we hear these stories, but until it happens to us personally, we still don't really know, right? And that's kind of like the game of living here and living on earth and being in this earth plane. And even after I got connected to Jesus and saw him in ceremony and saw him in meditations and saw him in my dreams, and God came to me in one meditation. He didn't say anything, but I felt his presence over me. Even when you have these profound experiences, you still have to work on integrating the belief into your system, right? Because we have to change our patterns. You don't just wake up one day, meet Jesus, and then tomorrow you're completely changed. You have to work on accepting that into your life, right? And I did encounter him. I was connected to him through several, I would say two main spiritual healers that helped me a lot. One was a woman in Peru, a Peruvian woman, when I did an ayahuasca dieta for 5 weeks. And she was the first one that connected me with him. And actually that's why I decided to work with her, because I just felt a call to somebody who believed in God, who believed in Jesus. And I didn't really know much about the Bible, and I considered myself a Christian, but I never went to church and I never read the Bible, and I didn't feel connected to God, and I felt like I needed help, and I wanted somebody that I could trust. I had been hurt by a lot of other healers before that, kind of making my situation and the things that I wanted to heal worse. So I felt, and this is not always true, but I was practicing my discernment, and I was hoping, I was like, okay, if I look for somebody who, reads the Bible and believes in God and is a plant medicine healer, maybe they'll be trustworthy. And, luckily the woman I found was extremely beautiful and helpful and loving, and she helped me so much. And yeah, she kept saying, read the Bible and pray to God during those 5 weeks that I was there. And I started to work on that, I started to talk to God and just tell him, her, what my life was going through. And then the last week, in ceremony, so this was, on plant medicine, but, when you're in plant medicine, especially ayahuasca, you're just in the other realm that we all have access to. So in my previous video, I talk about this as well, accessing the other dimensions where, the spirits exist, for example, on the, I don't know if it's the 4th or the 5th, I'm not sure, but you have access to these other realms when you're on the plant medicine. So Jesus came to me in the ceremony. He sat next to me. He sat next to me for 2 hours. He didn't say anything to me. He just gave me his presence, and he was wearing white linen pants, and his shirt was off, and his hair was long, and he had a beard, and he was just sitting there with a smile on his face, just sitting there in peace. And I just was like, oh my gosh, what? And I even went up to him, and I was touching him, and touching his hair, and it was really crazy. So that was kind of wow, what? Jesus, you exist, And then I went home for my dieta, and then I didn't really connect, with him again until maybe a month or two later. I started to work with a Russian woman who also was very connected to God and Christ. And I started to do these meditations, and that's when I started to see him again, in my meditations. And now I do see him sometimes in my dreams, and I feel that he's with me, and I feel that they connected him with me. So he's, he's with all of us. Sometimes we push them away unknowingly, push the love and the help away, and we open ourselves up to energies that aren't supportive to us unknowingly. So you can open yourself up to it by asking and praying for them to come. So, and then another one is coming up for me is, Ganesha. So I did a yoga teacher training in 4 years ago, I guess 2021. And we used to do a mantra in the morning. We used to pray and count our mala beads and do the Ganesha mantra. And ever since then, I've been connected to Ganesha as well. So I see Ganesha all around me in my dreams and my meditations. And so I 100% believe that all of these deities exist because I've connected to them, and they're very on the subtle realm. So if you want to connect to them, if you want to learn about them, if you want to feel them, you have to go into the next dimension, and that's through your sleep. That's through your meditation. So the next question is, do you ever have doubts about the spiritual side of this existence? Do you ever have any question? Can one prove the spiritual side or the unseen realm? Or to put it, prove that it's real? Well, this is that very scientific view of a non-scientific thing. This is very dualistic, egoic. This is the human being, being how do I prove that it's real? You can't prove that it's real because it's not of this reality. So when you go to these other realms, you're in a state where your conscious mind is not thinking. So if you do meditation, deep meditation, if you do yoga nidra, if you've practiced this for a while, the point is to observe. Even lucid dreaming, right when you're dreaming, you're falling asleep, and you start to see dream, you start to have these dream, go into the dream realm. Why is that? That's because you're not alert. You're not calculating data, and you're not paying attention, right? So your brain waves are changing to a different state, and you just can't prove that it's real because you just can't, because you're going away from the human body experience. And what does it matter about proof? even if somebody proved it, like with data and calculated on paper, or how would they even show that, right? Would you even believe it? Right? It's just like what I said about like when I met God and when I met Jesus, it still took me many months to really remember and to pray and to be like, they came to you, they're here, like pray, stop pretending like nobody's there. Like you have to take the time to integrate the experience. So it's a personal experience, and it doesn't matter if I tell you that it's real and you believe me, or you experience it, you still might not believe that it's true because the mind is so like stubborn in that way. So this is why people go to these profound plant medicine experiences. They see this, they see that, they feel, oh, I know the tools of how to change my whole life. And then a month later, they're back in their old patterns. They're doing the drugs again. They're, just doing all the things they don't want to do. And it's because we are in a dense reality. We are in a dense reality with time, with bodies, with illness, and not to mention all the other stuff that's going on that I'm not even going to get into in this video about our healthcare system, all of the programming online. I don't even want to like say anything. I made a whole video recently and they took it down because I started to say things about, some of the stuff going on. So we have all of this impacting our ascension. We have all of this getting in the way of us connecting to God, of us connecting to Source. And then he says, what are your thoughts on angel numbers or synchronicity? I see numbers a lot. So that's really great. I just got chills. Because the person who commented this, he said that, I'll just finish reading. He says, I find myself believing that there's a higher power with me, guiding me, beings protecting me. There's a greater purpose for us on this earth, and they aren't here just to be here for the sake of it. At other times, I believe that there is no higher power, there is no God that loves us all. We are all here and placed here by other entities to experiment on humans. I believe that we are just here to survive as I look around the world. I find myself losing myself trying to make sense of the spiritual side of existence. So this guy's definitely like confused, and that's fine, right? Like we're all learning and always growing, and like who's like 100% like I know this, and we're all kind of like playing this game of life. And the fact that you see spiritual numbers is obviously, a sign that's speaking to you outside of you. I do connect to spirit numbers. I haven't like gone that deep into like how to communicate with the guides, but there was a period when I was working with that Russian woman that like all the numbers were speaking to me, like not just 1111 or 222. Like I would see patterns in numbers. Like I can't even explain it. Like I just was seeing them, and it was like each time I saw a certain number pattern, I would like understand what it was communicating, and it was an upgrade. And I do agree with like I understand that you feel that they're experimenting on us. They're experimenting on us 100%. But why would that mean that there's no God? Like why would that mean that? Why would it mean that there's no God if people are experimenting on us? It's both. I mean, I believe there is a God. We are loved. We are accepted. We are looked after, and we're being experimented on, or we're being watched. I mean, everybody knows that, like, I hope they don't take this video down. But they can get into your phone and go right into your camera and see what you're doing at any moment. They can tap into your cell phone. Like, what they can do is a lot, and that's only what we know. And then there's other beings, like you said, extraterrestrials out there that are studying us for sure. But to me, that doesn't mean that there's no God. So I don't question anything anymore. I think because I've found my own path of safety within myself. Before I was like running away from my trauma, running away from my troubles with drugs and alcohol. So for me, that was what kept me lost. So the second I dropped that and started to go inward, started to do the somatic therapy, the trauma healing, the meditation, the water therapy, the like earthing, connecting with the earth, playing music, singing, like spending time alone by myself, spending time with my emotions, learning how to love myself, really made me feel not alone. And you can't ever be alone if you have yourself. So that's a whole nother topic as well. So that's another, thing with this whole experience as a human being that is a God being. We are a part of God and part of the human that forgot they're part of God. Their path to remembering their God and coming back home is to remember that you can't be alone, because you are God and we are all God and we are all reflections of each other. So as long as you're living and breathing and you can put your hand on your heart and feel your heart beating, you are not alone. So thank you so much, you guys. If you have more questions, please leave them. I love answering your questions. It helps me to know what you're curious about on my channel. And have an amazing day, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.